I'm going to show you an area that you need to pay attention to on your Alpine. You have these overhead cabinets like we do, and I think all the Alpines have some kind of an overhead cabinet, and they have glass panes in them. Well, over a period of time, and this usually occurs over a few years, when the unit sits closed up and it's hot inside, the stuff that they use from the factory to hold the glass pane in actually turns brittle and cracks, and when it does, you can see how this glass pane is actually moving. If you don't fix this and take care of it, what's going to happen, and this happened to us, is you're going to open one of these doors and you're not going to be expecting it, and that sealant is going to let loose and the glass pane is going to fall out right on the floor. If you're lucky like we were, it didn't land on anybody's foot and it didn't break. So it's something you want to check a couple of times a year, especially if you're in high heat like we are in the summertime out here in Idaho, and easy to fix. Now what I'm going to do is start removing this old sealant, and you can take a butter knife, something that's not sharp, and work down on the edge of the wood where the glass meets the wood where it's held in, and just get you a small section of it and get it separating from the wood, and you can pull this out, and this is all that holds your windows in, or the glass panes in. And so we're going to just pop this out, and wasn't that entertaining? It's holding the camera in one hand, and I'm too old for this stuff, I guess. But anyways, we have the window pane out. That's not exactly the way to do it. You probably would want a helper, but I'm an old fart and I do things by myself. But this is the window pane removed, and you can see the old sealant. It's all dried and brittle, and boy, I'm glad I didn't break that stupid window pane. I'd have shown you the video anyways if I did. Okay, here's a view with the glass pane removed from the overhead door, and you can see that the track area where the glass pane is going to sit back up in is nice and clean, and that's what you want. You want it nice and clean. And while holding this cell phone camera horizontally, because somebody said the videos look better if I hold it horizontal instead of vertical, we're going to peel off the rest of the sealant, and you can see how it just starts working its way off. And remember which side came out, or which side was pressed in. That way when you go to put it back in, you don't really have to clean all this old sealant off. You can a little bit with something plastic, a knife, or a non-sharp butter knife. And you want to just clean this off, and that's what we're going to do all the way around. And I'm going to put the camera down because I know if I pick this up, it's early in the day, and I don't want to drop this and break it. And I don't want to show you what a dummy I really am. Okay, we've actually got the window, I don't know why I call it a window. We've actually got the glass pane clean along the edges. The residual that you see here, it's nothing that's going to cause this glass to not stick well when I put it back up in the cabinet. And of course, when we get it back up in the cabinet and get it reattached in there and let it cure, then I'll clean it with some Windex. Otherwise, I will hear from the wife about it. So we'll show you how to put some sealant on this. This is the way that I fix it. And what I like to use to make the repair with these glass panes is I use the General Electric clear silicone. It's the only place I use silicone on this fifth wheel. It's good stuff, and you can buy it at Walmart or most any place. It stays pliable even in the heat, and so it won't dry up and your glass panes won't fall out on you. And what I've done is I've gone all the way around the outer edge of this glass pane, and you can see where I've placed small dots of the sealant, and I don't see any reason to lay a bead all the way around this. I prefer using the dots like this, and you can see how we've got them fairly evenly spaced all the way around. And then what we're going to do is put this glass pane up in position, And then I'm going to use 4 strips of tape, and we're going to tape the glass pane up in place so it will stay flush and will allow the silicone to cure for probably about 5 or 6 hours. And so I can show you here, we've got 2 edges of the glass pane taped down, and I just used duct tape. I always carry it in the 5th wheel. You could make this repair out in the field if you had to, and so if you aren't carrying a roll of duct tape, I would strongly recommend that you do that. And I just use 4 pieces of tape, and we'll just I don't press it real hard on the back side of the wood, and we'll take a peek from the front, and you can see that the glass pane is nice and flush. And by using those small little dots of silicone sealant, nothing is showing on the front side. And so that's how you make this repair. And I strongly suggest that you look at your Alpine overhead cabinets with the glass panes a couple of times a year. I carry a tube of sealant with me, and just in case maybe I didn't get a good repair. I have not resealed all of these. It's one of those things I've just been working at over the last couple of years, but something you want to be aware of. And so that's how you make a nice simple repair, except when you do have a helper so you don't drop the glass pane like I did. And fortunately I didn't break mine, but anyways, that's the repair. And I wanted to show you a quick, easy way to check these glass panes to see if you have a problem. I'm going to just tap on this large window pane, and you don't hear any noise. But if you notice when I tap on this one, you can hear it rattle, and that's your telltale sign that the adhesive that they use from the factory is letting go. And you can see here in this video that the sealant has turned yellow. This Alpine is 8 years old, so I expect a little bit of fair wear and tear on it. And I can come up here with my finger, and this time I'm not going to drop this glass pane out on the floor. But you can see with very little effort, I slipped my fingernail under there, and you can see that it's letting go. And when I tap on it, you can hear that rattle in the glass. And so if I don't fix this, it's going to be a problem. It could break the pane, and more importantly, it could hurt somebody. So something to be aware of. And here's an image of some of the sealant that I pulled off of one of those panes on the cabinet doors, and you can see, you know, it's old, yellow, and is doing nothing. So the stuff that I use and recommend, the clear GE silicone, will do a real good job for you. Just be sure to let it cure about 5 or 6 hours with about 4 strips of tape, and then clean up the pane, and you won't have any more problems. It should last for at least 10 years with that GE silicone.